again. So glad you could stop by and see me, or whenever it is that you're looking at this video. Today we're going to do something really fun. We've been playing with shells lately, but I've been thinking on some of the larger ones. I don't mean huge, but like 2-inch shells, especially in the turbos. They're so pretty, and I thought, what a great pendant just one would make. But then you got this issue. How do you make it hang straight? And then how are you going to fill it? What are you going to do? This and that. So I think I got it figured out, and then a few things that I didn't do right. I could show you what I didn't do, and then how to fix it, and then how to get the chain on right, how to embellish it if you want to. So come on over here, and I'm going to show you how. So to do this project, you need epoxy sculpt. If you've not played with it before, it is not hard. It's no harder than polymer clay. You don't have to bake it. It's a resin clay. So it really holds on to stuff that you stick into it. Polymer clay, you end up gluing it on or using liquid Sculpey, getting it on, then it falls off and you got to put glue. With epoxy sculpt, you rarely ever have to. But the thing is, people don't like about epoxy sculpt is it comes in a, if you haven't seen it before, I have lots of videos. I must have how many videos? At least 20 on epoxy sculpt. It comes in 2 parts. Super white, and then your part B. Okay, so this is white, and this is ugly.
It's like a gray.
But
color.
if you don't have this,
oh no,
you can't make it work. So what I do is sometimes I use a little scale that we use to measure things on, and I will take 2 balls, one of this and one of that, try to get it equal, put it on there, and then where I see where I'm at, I add a little bit more to this ball, this side, and then mix them together, because what that does is it makes it get harder faster. Now, if you don't want it to get harder faster, then don't do that, make it equal. But you don't, one thing's for sure, you don't want to get too much of this, because then it doesn't want to harden up. Okay, but anyway, you can go back. I have a whole playlist on epoxy sculpt. In fact, I did a free class on epoxy sculpt week by week, so there's tons of stuff you can see about it. We do carry it, and we have a good bit at BizooBoutiques.com, which, by the way, before I forget, please leave us a comment and a like on the video. We really, really, truly appreciate it so much. Thank you. All right, so you have to mix this up, and when you're done mixing it up, I just did a little bit because you don't need much, but it looks like this. Okay, or it should look like this. If it doesn't, now in the back you can still see a little bit of the dark color, but it's okay. It's mixed up well enough. So now I've got this shell here. This is a turbo shell, and it's a pearly turbo. We had some on our website at Etsy, but I think they got gobbled up, so we're gonna have to get some more. But anyway, you might even have one. But anyway, so you have to pinch off a little bit first. You kind of have to mess with it a little bit to see like how much. Now, what you could do if you wanted to is like we did the other day when we were applying these to a brass base. We stuffed them with tissue paper. You could do that here too. And it might save you a little bit of epoxy sculpt. But being honest, I'm going to use that blob up, because if I don't, it's going to get hard and it won't work for anything. So I'm going to put that on there. Just put it on that hole and see. And I'm going to just shove it down in there. You don't have to get it super deep for it to, stay. It'll do it. It'll do it. Okay. So yeah, it's in there good enough. I could add a little bit more, but I don't think I would want to. So the main thing then, after I do that, I don't want to get too high on the top, and I don't want to get smashed out too much on the sides, because if you can see, I don't know if you can, see a little bit got smashed out on this side, which you will not be able to avoid entirely because the way the shell is made by nature. A little bit too much on the top, it's not the worst thing in the world, but you probably don't want that, so you want to push it back or like trim it off your fingernail or something. And then down in here, you want to definitely get that push back. So then if it sticks out a little bit like this, you can see it kind of pooched out a little bit. That's okay, because it will help with the balance of the shell, because that's the trick. If you look at this with me, what we want to do is get it to hang point side down. Okay, that looks best to me anyway. If you like it another way, then I don't care, but that's what I do. But something that I discovered yesterday when I was making these, when I put them in so meticulously and thought I had them all point size down, I failed to think how this swirl goes. And so what happened is when I have it like that, then my bail would maybe be, I'll just stick this in here to show you what I did. It might be over this way, thinking, I'll get it. And it would be thrown off. You'd have like this big blob going around here and just a little bit come down. Anyway, it bothered me kind of. It wasn't the end of the world because I ended up decorating. I'll show you in a minute. But I kind of thought I'd do something a little bit different when I showed you today. So first I'll show you what I did last night, and then I'll show you what I think would be better. Okay, so I'll just set that down there. Now, this is what I did last night. This is done, or at least I think so. So this is a pretty big shell. This was the biggest shell I had. It really didn't work for anything else. It was too big. So I thought, perfect for a pendant, just perfect. So I've cut maybe around 30 inches of this chain with some I had in my stash. And I had that right. And then I pushed this full. See, now should have smoothed that off. What I could have done was taken a little bit of the solvent, the epoxy sculpt solvent, which we sell. It's real cheap. It's like $4 or something at the site. Taken on my finger and just rubbed over this, and it would have smoothed out. I wouldn't have had that imprint. But all is not lost, because what I could do is add a little bit of Perfect Pearls on here. First I would have to add clear embossing ink, then put the Perfect Pearls on here, and that would probably, it won't disguise it completely, but it will make it look a little bit better in case it swings forward. But anyway, still with this, okay, here's how I've got it. So it would be straight, but see, I don't know, to me it kind of bugs me a little bit because I've got this big swirl over here not balanced with this one. So I want to get that little Dairy Queen curlicue thing going like right in the middle. So what I need to do, if I want to do that, this works, it's okay, there's nothing wrong with that, I would wear that, but I need to move the bail over a little bit crookedy to the side, and then see what happens if I do that. If I put the bail in a little bit crookedy, like over here, and hang it, I think then it would make this go more to the side and down. I don't know. I'm not looking at this the right way myself. Upside down, I can't tell. But anyway, yeah. So if I if I had it over here, I might like it better. Or maybe I would want it over here. I don't know. I don't know until I get in it. Maybe over here. Anyway, you can reposition it differently. But what I did is I just eyeballed it to try and make it completely vertical. And it's okay. It works. It's just, I just think maybe I could get to look a little bit better. But I'm going to show you how I can put the mica powders on. I've showed you this like a lot of times, but I'm going to show you again. How about that? So this is all cured. And honey, you can put Perfect Pearls on this stuff when it's still not cured, kind of wet, it was never really wet, but kind of clay-like. And if you do, then you do not need the clear embossing ink, because this stuff, the epoxy sculpt, is a resin, 2-part resin, and Perfect Pearls has resin in it, so it will bind. But if you let it cure first, then you're going to have to use this, so that's why I have it out. Otherwise, if I'd been thinking about it last night when I did it, then like if I did this today, I don't know why I got that thing sticking in her eye, I would put it on now, because then I won't need that, because it's, I just made this and it's tacky. That's what I want to say, tacky. It's so tacky. Anyway, so I'm just going to rub this on here, because you have to have this kind of as a little, I don't know what you want to say, catalyst to get the stuff to stay down. Okay, that's good enough. And you always want to close it back up real good because it can dry out. And then I have my Perfect Pearls. And of course, I don't want to dip into the pot because I could, corrupt it or something. You want to do that. You want to ruin it. That's more than enough. Okay, so now just pearly eyes it. Let's see how it's getting pearly. Now, like I say, this crease and stuff, maybe what you want to do is paint it white and then go back over with this stuff. Or maybe not. You know, this is handmade, who cares, right? But, you know, if that bothers you, you could, you know, definitely go back over. But I think that the Perfect Pearls looks nice on it.
It does.
You know. So it looks like somebody was trying. But I should have watched for this. See, this occurred, this little dent, when I put the bail on, and you will see in a minute that happened. But yeah, so I let that dry, and it's good. I could, to seal it, I could hit that a little bit with a little bit of Krylon, but I'd have to be careful because I got stones on here. Mm-hmm. So I might have to take a little masking tape or something, put over there, a little piece of cellophane tape you put over this, so you would get no Krylon on that, because if you get like a matte lacquer on that, it will frost them. You know, they won't be brilliant and shiny bling. They'll be like frosted. Now, if you like them, look fine, go for it. But, you know, that is not what I want. So I'm just giving you that little tip. Okay, so I'm going to put this away. Well, no, I'm not, because I'm going to use it again. So, here, let me just... That was dumb. But then I do lots of dumb things. Here. I hate wasting this stuff. It's not expensive. Oh, and in case you wonder what in the world I'm doing, I meant to tell you this first, and of course I didn't. This is a book. I use this book to sit on my lap when I'm writing bills out. It's just a really nice lap desk size. So what I did, so that I could work on epoxy sculpt on my lap, because it's tacky and messy, gets on stuff. While I was watching TV, sitting on my bed, I took a piece of this stuff. You've seen me use this before. This is an extra big piece. It's like a double piece. And I wrapped it around and taped it. And then I had some left, and then I put some in the bottom of another tray, so I'd have some there too. So we have some of this at the website too. I don't think we have the double pieces, but if you're interested in getting a double piece, I have extra ones in my own stash. Just give me a holler, and we'll work it out for you. But anyways, let's go back to this guy before it starts setting up. Okay, so we can see when we got a little bit of goobering up on the back of it. I'm going to keep my fingers. That doesn't matter, because we are going to put the bail in now. And so stuff is going to go over that. You'll see what I mean. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how I did it last night. I took this little bail thing. Looks like a little tiny shovel thing. See? You hang through that loop there, and this you glue on this stuff. We have them on the website, beastofboutiques.com. Might have some on our Etsy too, Beast of Boutiques Slides. But I want to get it so this little swirly point here is going to line up with that, and it'll be hanging straight. So I'm thinking like about here. Yeah. So I'm going to check it. Now, don't think just because you put that on there like that that's going to be all you need to do, because it will not stay. And I'll show you case in point. I did this little round shell because I want to make a pendant out of it. And I thought, oh, it'll be okay. And I just stuck one in there like this. And I didn't cover it over. And this morning I picked it right out. It was too shallow. When you embed things in epoxy sculpt, you got to push it down in. Okay, so this didn't work. So how will I fix that? How will I work that out? Well, I'll show you. Okay, so I got my epoxy sculpt here. Still got a little bit left. So I need just the smallest little bit. Don't need much at all. Like that. And then I want to roll it up in a ball a little bit. Now, if there's mica powder still on your hand and it gets in that, so what? It's no big deal, okay? So let me see if it's going to go the way I like. So now I have to eyeball it and see if it's going to go the way I want it to. If it's, I just don't, I don't know myself, this is my sense of up and down. I don't want this here part at the bottom listing off to the side. I want it to be straight. So I have to think, like, how do I get that in there to make that work? So if I hang it like that, it's going to be pretty good, but not quite it. So I'm going to move, what I'm going to do is I think I'll push this over a little bit like that. Nope, it turned sideways, didn't it? No, it didn't. Okay. So, looking at that, going top, it's fairly straight. Okay. Now, if you want it to be wonky and off to killery and want to make it look real natural and all that, you do what you want. But this is what I do because I that's my sensibilities in making things. I like them to. I like asymmetrical. I like things to be off sometimes. In this case, no, I don't. I want it to be just right. So what I'll do to get that to hang good and not come off is I'll take this little piece of epoxy sculpt here and I will put over it like a little pad. And then I'll try to work that up the neck of the bail a little bit, but not getting it into the hole or loop part because that'll prevent it from hanging right. Push it down. And I always come around to the sides to see how I'm doing, you know. So far, pretty good. Okay. So now, the thing is, now I've got this blob on top. So this is where the solvent thing will come in handy. I'm not going to do it today because personally, I don't care. But if you do, that's the way to fix it, is epoxy sculpt solvent or a little bit of water. But the water doesn't work as good as the solvent does, I will tell you that. But it's okay. As far as I'm concerned, this is okay too. All right, it's gone down pretty good into it. That's why you only want to use just a little tiny piece of it, because if you use a big piece of it, it won't work too good. It'd be too much. It'll be all over the place. Okay, so now my concern is right here. Right in here. Because it makes me feel like that's going to be a weak spot a little bit. To me, I don't want it to fall out, you know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tiniest little piece of epoxy sculpt here. Teeny tiny. Like little, see? A little thing like that. That might even be too much. I'll see. Yep, it's going to be too much. About half that much. Okay, so now I'm going to take that and I'm going to put it right up. See, right up there. Okay, so now I'm going to push it down in. I want to be sure that it catches my bail and I don't end up having it popping out. That will now. That should be just fine. Yeah. But now I've got this little lip coming out what will show. And that's what I found when I did this, because of this shell and the way that it's made, you know, by nature, God, whatever. Definitely God in my case. You're going to have to deal with it. It's just how it is. Like me, I'm chubby. I can't wear the same stuff skinny people wear, right? Got to deal with it, right? All right. So I'm trying to even that out a little bit. Okay, so now what I would do is I would just let that dry a little bit. But before I let it all dry and do anything else with it, I'm going to use my mica powders again. I don't, in this case, have to use the clear embossing ink. Do not have to use it. Okay.
Yep, got it.
Because this is still tacky, okay, and this has got resin in it. It's resin clay, and this is like resin mica powders with resin. That's why I love Perfect Pearls. I love them way better than Pearlex. Although Pearlex has their place, but for me, Perfect Pearls are just more. They're more like they do more the kind of things that I want to do. You know, they're better for me. Okay, so now I'm just going to apply this. And you can see how nicely that goes on and stays. Now, if this was cured, it wouldn't look good. It would come right off. But this is not cured. So what's going to happen is it's going to dry into the epoxy sculpt and be lovely, lovely. See how shiny? Okay, and then I'm going to come around front.
It kind of matches the shell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it does.
With the pearl.
I think so. So I'll come around the front and do that. And then anything I want to smooth out, I'll do. But probably what I will do, I will embellish that a little bit over the top, and you will never see it. But if it flips over, you'll see. And if you wanted to, you know, if you're an artist who likes to sign their work, you could put your initial or something in the back of that. I don't have my little fine point tool, or I might. But I do sign my work sometimes. But anyway, not today. So this is pretty much how it's going to be. So whenever I put chain on it, it's gonna hang nice and straight, I think, or pretty good. Now, since I have a little bit of epoxy sculpt left, and I had that round piece that didn't take.
It's right there.
Oh, it's right in front of me, and I've got a rough edge too. I'm just gonna go ahead and use this up and fix that. I'll show you how I do that. In fact, I got an idea. Ooh, ideas. I'm gonna make a little snake with it. Put this out of the way. You know, Clay, when you're a kid, that's what you do. You just make snakes.
That's true.
Or worms or whatever you want them to be. But if you're decorating something, you're an artist, then you might want to take this and twist it a little bit. I don't want to twist it too hard, because if you do, it'll break. Now, the one thing I would say is, if this was polymer clay, the twist would be more defined. It would come out more defined. I think this is enough to get around it. Oh yeah, can't pinch it off. And in this way, I can cover some of the mess I made. So yeah, it's not perfect, but we'll see what happens. All right, so now see this rough edge I got around here on this? I don't know, I didn't pay enough attention to it, and it dried like that, so I don't like it like that. So I am going to put this around the edge. And what it will look like is, when I'm done, it will look like a bezel. In that case, you know, you really wouldn't have to twist it. Being honest, you really wouldn't have to. Okay, so now we're going to feel over it and try to get it even. Pick that off.
You can do it!
Get it to look fairly even around the edge, so that it's going to look like a bezel. Tamp it down a little bit. Look at the back. Yeah, you got most of the mess with it. I didn't get all of it, but I got the worst of it. I'm going to put mica powder anyway, so it won't matter so much. But anyways, so yeah. Okay, so I want my swirl, the top of the piece. Here's my, okay. So I want my swirl to go like that. So I have to make myself a point of reference so that I get my little thing in there right. And I don't think this was it. I think it needs to be here. So here's what I do next. Because this is dry, I'm going to have to put a piece that's not dry tacky over it. And you can do that, so it's not a big deal. And I'm going to roll it up in a little ball. And then, you know, if you make like a ring around something with epoxy sculpt, and it could be anything, didn't matter, it didn't have to be, you know, shell, it can be anything. If you do that, you could do like a black metallic, make it look like gunmetal. You could do copper metallic, make it look like, you know, copper. You can make it look like all kinds of metal colors if you want. So I'm just, putting that on there and kind of flatten it out a little bit. It won't look the best, but it'll do. It'll do. And then I want to be sure that I get my veil in there the way I want it to go. So I'm going to see if this is it. Oh, it's not. And I don't want to get it too crooked or listen off to the side or something like that, because then it won't hang right. There's so many things you do in beading and making jewelry. You think, oh, this is easy, nothing to it. Yeah, well, yeah, it's true. But if you need to do it as part of a complete project like this leads to this, leads to this, every piece, every part matters, because it won't come out otherwise. They all have to cooperate. All the parts have to cooperate. I'm just going to push that down in there. Okay, now, this came out so I could push it kind of over it. I got to get that covered up. That was part of the problem. It wouldn't stay in there because it wasn't fortified good enough. Okay, so now it's in there. It's just a little bit of the back showing, not too much. I just want to make sure I've got it straight. Yeah. Okay, so now what I'll do is I will just take another little tiny piece and I'll roll it around there. And I'm going to put it over the metal that's showing. That's why this popped off. I didn't get it set down in deep enough, and I didn't make like a mounting like for it. I always, like if you have something like this, you always want to put it down in and then put something over the top of it. So it really will hold it, because it's resin clay and it will. Make sure that I got it looking right. Okay. What do you think? Does that look about right, hubby? Do I need to do something to it?
No, it looks good.
Looks good. I see little fingerprints in here, but you know what? There's this thing in the clay communities, fingerprints or no fingerprints. And my feeling has always been, and maybe I'm wrong, but it's always been like, this is handmade, people. You see the artist's fingerprint in your piece, so long as it's not all over the front and making it design look bad. It's like their signature, their DNA is on there. It's kind of cool, I think. That's me. That's me. Anyway, okay, so now I'm going to take my perfect pearls. And we don't have anything wet over that. And I don't want to put anything over it, so I'll show you how we'll deal with it in a minute. But first we're going to do this stuff. Oops, got a bit much in there. I need half a bottle, or can, or whatever you want to call this thing. There we go. All right. So I take it down and go in over that. And then I'm going to go around the edge and kind of pearlize the edge too, because it's still tacky, And of course, you could fuss with yours and make it look a whole lot better than mine. I'm just trying to get it done and show you, now. But this will do. I mean, I'd wear those. This'll work. Okay, so I think that's covered pretty good now. This little piece where it's high. Gotta watch using your fingernails though, because you could get fingernails in it, and that doesn't look so good. Handprints not so bad. Fingernail prints, I don't know. That's kind of where I draw the line on it. Anyways, okay. So now what am I gonna do about this back piece where I didn't put any? Well, I'm gonna have to use my pad. So I'm gonna have to carefully. It does have a little on it. It looks like it's holding a little bit, but I'm not counting on it. So I'm gonna put a little bit more. Okay, and then I went and no, I didn't. I still have some. Okay, so now I'll just go over the back. Oops. And you can flatten it out and fuss with it however you want. I'm going to stop it with this for now because I want to move on, but and get done. But that's pretty much the way it's going to get left this time. I don't know if I can. I'm probably just going to have to pick that up and see. That's kind of a waste. I hate that it is, but I don't have anything else to put with it. So, okay. So I'll put this back in here. And close it up good tight, you know, especially epoxy sculpt to get that really down good tight, because you will be sad the next time you come to use it because it ain't going to be too good. Not going to work too good. So you just have to let that dry then. So now, if you want to add embellishments to something when it's not cured yet, that's fine. You can push them down in. But in this case, I don't think you're going to be able to push stuff down in far enough for it to really stay. So I think it's better off if you wait till the piece is cured and then you add stuff. Like I put these little, you know, daisies with the flowers. That I did with E6000 once it was dry. Same thing with this. I did that with E6000 once it was dry. I might put a little bit more in there yet too because it's stuck up. But this one I didn't put anything on. And I might not. And why is that? Oh, yeah, this is what we just did. And why is that? Well, this one hangs pretty good. Because, you know, it does. But then, you know, you'll look at this and you'll see it's got this piece that goes sloping. Here, let me get it in the thing. It goes sloping down. It's just the way it's made, you know, sloping down and twirling around. And to my eye, that begs for a little something, like little stones going down there, a piece of rhinestone chain, some of them flowers or little pearls or whatever. But you decide because you're the artist. You're the one that's going to do it. Okay, so now I have this one cut. All I have to do is I have to add my clasp to the back, and it's good. When that is dry. So I'll maybe embellish it later. Oh wait, you know what? I just noticed something. I need to put pearl on that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put this here because I want to finish it off nice. So now I'm gonna show you something real quick, and then we'll be done today about the way you want to hang it on a chain. Again, with this item that's kind of an irregular shape and so forth, you can get into a place where it could, not necessarily will be, but could be, hard for you to get it to, you know, hang right. You might not want to. So what do you do about that? I'll show you. This is a little trick I learned back when I worked with 1928 jewelry a lot. A lot of their old looking pieces, their reproduction type pieces, they'll this thing where they'll want them to hang, but it might have a big pendant or something that's just kind of difficult to hang. So I put my Figaro chain through my loop, and then I pulled it up, and I came up here to the next bunch of Figaro, and I put, I don't know if you can see it, I mean, I get my pointer, pull it up right here. I put a jump ring on there to hold it. And maybe I'll even put a couple more. And what that'll do is it'll tend to hold the pendant in place so it doesn't get all wonky on you when you wear it. And that's what I did on this one. You can see. Did on this one too. There's one right here. Okay. And I did another one a little bit further up, because this one's real long, and I wanted to be sure that it was straight. So that might be a little trick you might want to keep in mind for when, you know, you make your jewelry and it's a long, like maybe it's a larger pendant on a long chain. That little trick of fortifying the chain with jump rings can really make it so it hangs better, okay? So that's your little tip for today. So that's pretty much how that goes. I hope you guys will try it, because it's fun and it's easy, and there's no reason why you can't make it work. So I hope you will. So Happy Friday to you all. I hope you'll come and visit us at besoboutiques.com. That's where we have the good stuff, you know. We carry thousands of items that are for jewelry making in the vintage style or mixed media. Vintage style or mixed media jewelry style. But you can use it for other things besides mixed media. So I hope you will consider come on over and look and see what we got. Okay? All right, so you guys have a good day, and we'll see you next week.